What's up, my dudes? So, I may or may not have made a motocross track in the official Monster Energy Supercross game. So, I think we all speculated when we first saw the track editor in this game, like, hey, dude, maybe you can make a motocross track inside the Supercross stadium. And by God, I think I pulled it off. So, let's get in here, man. What's absolutely hilarious about it is, see, you make your braking bumps and your roughness with the actual whoops in the game. And that's how you create that motocross feeling to it. So check this shit out, dude. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think this was really going to be possible. I honestly didn't. Well, look at this. Like, there's roughness and everything on the track. That is so funny, dude. Like, they have this little, I don't know what they call them in the game, like editing piece or whatever you want to call it, where it's like a half of a whoop. It's like a whoop that's a half of the width of the track. And what you can do is kind of place those like where you'll have one on one side and one on the other and flip them left and right. And you literally can create something that looks like braking bumps. I mean, no joke, like you honestly can. So it's pretty cool. And you can also put that together with your normal smaller whoop piece on the track that goes all the way across the width of the track. So you can create this sort of, they've got just enough little objects and pieces in there where you can create a little bit of variation within the quote-unquote roughness feeling on the track. You know, it's not just like you've got whoops in every single place that you're trying to make roughness. You've got that little half whoop block on there as well. So it's pretty cool how you can actually make that in this game. Like I said, it was always something that was like, well, maybe you'll be able to make something kind of like that, but I never thought you would actually be able to make something that really felt like a motocross track. But I mean, I think I pulled it off here, dude. Like, it's actually pretty fun, and you can realize, like, setups that work good on the Supercross tracks in this game don't really work so well on this track. Like, you know, your really short gearing and stiff setups don't seem to work as good when you've got these kind of like half whoops and full whoops in between a lot of the jumps and going into the corners and everything. It really creates a whole different experience on the bike, you know, than what you're experiencing on any other track in this game. So yeah, I have this for PS4. This is on the most liked page on the PS4 if you want to download the track. Now, don't fear, if you're on PC, I'm going to be making an exact replica of this track for PC as well within the next day or two. So you guys will be able to download that on PC. I'm going to make it exactly piece by piece that this track is on PS4. So the name of the track is just called Motocross Track. Oh, sick-ass name, Spence. I mean, you got to name it something like that because people can clearly understand what it is in a Supercross-only game. Like, you name that shit Motocross Track, dude, and people will definitely download that for sure. But yeah, so this is way more of what I would call actual motocross than like Daytona in the game, and it's actually a pretty fun track because the jumps have size to them. Like, they've got that jump in this game that's I think they call it like a 10-foot jump in the game or whatever, but that really creates a motocross feeling. Like, if they didn't have that jump in the game and they didn't have the smaller whoops and the little half whoop kind of pieces in the editor, you wouldn't really be able to do it. Like, that's the only thing that really allows you to do it in this game. See, like, a lot of these jump faces are built off of that 10-foot jump, so yeah, it really creates a motocross track. I mean, without elevation, you know, you can't really build any of that in the game, and you can't really make like your own ruts and stuff in the corners. But I mean, it's definitely a motocross track when you compare it to the other tracks in the game, for sure. So yeah, I think it's cool, man. I was really surprised that I was able to pull this off here. That was the first thing that hit my mind whenever I got into the editor. I was like, oh shit, you might actually be able to make a motocross track in this. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. But like I said, got this on PS4. They don't actually have a search. I don't think they have a search option in the editor, so you can't just like search a track name. I'm pretty sure you have to either go to like the most liked page or the most downloaded page, or just randomly search through like the 120 pages worth of tracks on there. So they need to put that in pronto ASAP, dude, for sure. But like I said, on PS4 anyways, my track is on the most liked page. So if you want it to stay on the most liked page, be sure and like it if you go in there and download it for PS4. But I really do want to translate this over to PC as well, because that's what I'm going to be playing on primarily. But this was just me kind of screwing around with the editor settings. I mean, this is me not even really knowing what the hell I'm doing. I mean, I built this track in just a few hours. You know, that's kind of the magic to the track editor in this game, is you don't really have to spend a lot of time to make something. Everything just sort of pieces together well, which comes with positives and negatives. Obviously, you don't have as many customization options, but at the same time, you can put together a fully completed track pretty well here. So I think it's cool, man. Got a nice little triple little motocross filling section, kind of like a local vibe rhythm section filling to it, where it's pretty hard to get the triple in. Like, it's not easy, dude. I mean, if you don't have a stiff setup, it's kind of hard to get that first triple in compared to some of the other triple ins on the stock tracks of this game. So I thought that was a cool little addition to it, because you're trying to have like more of a softer suspension for all this roughness on the track. As you can see, my ass is flying all over the place. You know, you're trying to make a little bit of a softer setup, but then it makes it harder to hit some of those jumps. So that's kind of the balance in real life motocross that you try to find with it. So really cool finish line where you just jump like 10 million thousand freaking braking bumps, whoops, whatever you want to call them. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Come around the first corner, you got that fun, just motocross style double, kind of like a James Stewart compound double or something like that. So, really cool how they added those pieces. And this just opens up the doors, man, for if they do end up coming out with a AMA motocross game or whatever, and man, they better not like come out with it and it be $60 and stuff like that. It better be either like a little $30 DLC or something like that for people to really want to buy into that instead of just splitting the games. But, you know, if they do come out with that and they've got like a motocross editor in there as well, and they allow you to interchange the pieces between the Supercross track editor and like a motocross editor, now you've got a fucking game, dude. You know what I mean? Like, this game has got a new breath of life to it with this editor. I mean, it really does. Like, if it did not have this editor, woo, it'd be rough, dude. It'd be real rough. The whole game is going to go to this. Like I've said before, after about a month of everyone playing on the stock tracks, I guarantee you everyone will be on the editor-made tracks, just simply because I feel like with the editor-made tracks, they've got just enough pieces and different options in there of like bigger jumps than it feels like you would normally find on the stock tracks. You know, you can make the tracks a little bit more difficult than what you would find on the stock tracks. And I don't know if that's because, I don't know if they made all the stock tracks that easy because they wanted the AI to be able to ride on it. One thing I noticed is like, on this track, if you try to ride with AI, as soon as they come up to any of the, what I call roughness, but they're actually technically whoops in the game, the AI just like totally slows down like they're going through a whoop section. Like they'll come right here and they'll totally slow down and they'll go over this right here and then they'll speed back up to a jump face and then they'll get into this and they'll slow down like it's in a whoop section, and they'll do that over and over and over. So you can see where the AI sort of engine is made out of. You can see what's going on with it. So maybe that's why they didn't make the tracks too difficult, because they wanted the AI to be able to work on it. Shit, I don't know. But it's crazy that all the stock tracks sort of have this like not too difficult level to them, but when you go to the track editor, you literally can make some shit that's like pretty difficult. I mean, you can, like when it comes to the rhythm sections like this right here, I mean, if you're not on your A game, you're not going to be able to triple that. And it took a little bit of smarts trying to get all that to work together with certain pieces. Like your average Joe making custom tracks in this game's not going to know how to make a section like that. But me being, super heavy into the simulator track editing, I could figure out a way to make that right there. And I also figured out a way to make more difficult whoops in the game. So they have a small whoop kind of piece in the editor, and they also have what they call like a bigger whoop piece in there. And what you do is you put like one small whoop and then one big whoop and then one small whoop and then one big whoop and then one small whoop right after each other. And what that does is that makes it to where the bike gets way more out of shape over the whoop section, so it actually feels like a whoop section. Because when you go into the whoop, your front ends and the whole bike is going down over the smaller whoop and then instantly going back up over the bigger whoop and then going right back down over the small whoop. So it really gives you that like back and forth true whoop feeling that you would expect on a Supercross track a little bit more. So I've already found some tricks in the editor to make it a little bit more like, what you would want a Supercross track to be like. So that's some cool shit, dude, no doubt. It's just so funny how, like, there's just enough options. I'm talking, like, if they, like I'm saying, if they didn't have just every single one of the objects that they have in there currently, you wouldn't be able to do it. Like, there's no way. You just wouldn't be able to make a true motocross track. So that's hilarious. Like, they just put just enough of Supercross objects where you can kind of sort of basically make what you would call like a motocross track in here. So either way, man, and I'm probably going to make multiple renditions of this. And if any of you motherfuckers make a track like this, you're just a copying ass. So no, I'm just fucking around. But so yeah, dude, got a couple of cool little rhythms to it. Now, right here after the finish line, you can see how this tough block is sort of, that's how it just is standardly. It's kind of out in the middle. I don't know if that's kind of how I pieced together the track here. They thought it was like going to be a corner, but it was more of you're kind of straight shooting through here. But what you can do is just shoot in between these tough blocks, and it kind of gives you that, you know how on a motocross track, sometimes the track gets really, really narrow in some corners, like with how they have their hay bales and stuff set up? Well, it kind of gives you that feeling a little bit. So I just left the shit in there. Even though it's somewhat of a, what you would call like bug on the track, I just left it in there. I thought it was cool. Like, you actually have to kind of thread the needle a little bit in that corner to make it to where you go right between those tough blocks. So I thought it was cool. But yeah, there's a couple of fairly big style jumps on the track. Now, one of the hardest jumps is being able to hit this and huck all the way over that jump. Kind of gives you that real motocross feeling where you're kind of landing on a super smooth, like rolled off face of a landing. And sometimes if you can just hit that jump before it absolutely perfectly, you can jump all the way and land down the downside of it. But then it starts, I mean, it really does depend on your setup at that point, because you have to have a little bit more of a soft setup. You got to have a little bit more of maybe top speed gearing to be able to get the bike to float over that section properly. So it's fucking crazy. I never thought you'd be able to make something in the track editor that would require a different setup in the game than the stock tracks in the game. That's kind of crazy, man. But there's a lot of potential with this whenever you talk about, like, the future of if they continue to put this in the games, and especially, like I'm saying, if they come out with a AMA National DLC pack or whatever, and they really give you a bigger stadium, a bigger outdoor environment or something like that. Woo! I'm not joking around, bro. It's got some potential. There's no doubt about it. So as of right now, obviously a little bit limited. Very cool to see all these options in here, but yeah, it's like there's just enough room in this big square stadium to where you can actually somewhat make a motocross track. It's like every aspect of it, it's got just enough in there where you can make somewhat of a motocross track. You know what I mean? It's so funny how they managed to put all that in there, but got a nice little inside. I totally missed it, but you can kind of jump over those those two little rough bumps and still hit the triple in there. So a little bit more of a pro line. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the track. like I said, it didn't take me too long to make it. Just kind of figured out a couple little tricks within the editor to put some stuff together. Really fun, like angled motocross style jump right here. You can see some of the whoop roughness between some of the jumps. So yeah, man, I mean, just look at how the bike rides over this whoop section right here compared to the other whoops in the game on the stock tracks. Oh my God, I'm burping. Did you see how much my bike was bouncing and hucking around? Well, yeah, that's like a real fucking whoop section, dude. So either way, pretty crazy, but awesome that it's possible to make this in the game. I mean, it's cool for sure. So like I said, it's on the most liked page on PS4, and I will be making a PC version very, very in the near future. I'm going to try to make it as exact as I possibly can. I'm going to have both of the screens sitting side by side, and I'm going to be making every single piece like I did right here in this, like you're seeing right here for the PC version. So either way, man, shout out to my sponsor, SquidSquadSTL.com. Definitely go check him out. He's got a lot of motocross style shirts and hoodies and stickers, and he's a real life pro rider as well, and he's small business trying to make his dreams come true, dude. Got to help those guys out there. But also letting you guys know you can donate to me personally. Down below there is a link to that, and on my homepage you can see the actual link. It's and also just letting you guys know you can follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Steam. You can add me on PlayStation Network, Xbox Live. All that stuff is just Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. So yeah, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.